All right, guys, it's that time again for the Covrprice Top 10 1 year later. All right, guys, it is that time again. The Covrprice Top 10 1 year later. We all love this video. I know I do, and I've read in the comments how much you guys enjoy this, so we're going to keep it going. Before we get into it, if you could hit that subscription button, notification bell, thumbs up if you enjoy the video, and give me a follow on Twitter. Give me a follow on Instagram, VERYGARY_comics. Give me a follow on TikTok, and of course, follow me on Whatnot. We're going to be bringing the YouTube auctions and bringing them over to Whatnot as well. High quality books, just like we do on YouTube. Now with that, let's talk just a little bit about Covrprice before we get into this list. For today's comic book market trends, check out covrprice.com. It offers the ultimate price guide with live, raw, and graded sales data. Very important, raw and graded. Manage your collection, track your portfolio's overall value with our robust tracking systems with a free 10-day trial and several affordable price tiers. Guys, you get multiple price tiers. Discover the value of your comics and sign up today. This list comes to us from our friends from covrprice.com, focusing on their top 10 from a year ago. I'm going to take you through how each title's sales compare from last year's market values to today's current values. How did these comics do? What had a boost in price? And of course, what was a bust? So with that, let's get into our number 10 book. This is Morbius number 1. This is the INHYUK 1 in 50 variant. This is such a great cover. INHYUK is absolutely amazing. 1 year ago, the market felt the same way. At this time last year, we were still a few months away from seeing the first Morbius trailer. Yet the growing excitement for the film and Lee's rising star, this became the variant to track down. On the top 10 of 2020, it reached a high raw sale of $65 with no 9.8 sales. Here we are a year later now. The raw price dropped a little bit to $46, which isn't too bad. There was a recent 9.8 sale of $85. If the Morbius film works, this could still be one to track down. But for now, it is a bust. Guys, you know how I feel. Some of these variants are great. Some of them are not so good. The Morbius book to get forever and will always be Amazing Spider-Man 101. But if you're a Morbius fan, why not grab an absolutely incredible variant by an absolutely unbelievable artist? Why not? Let's go down to number 9. This is Spider-Man Unlimited number 1. This is way back from 1993. Last year, along with Carnage in Venom number 2, Shriek was also confirmed to appear, whose first appearance is in this issue. Her first appearance had a high sale of $180 for a 9.8. Raw sales around $5 as they cleared off of sites like eBay. Today, it sells for about $153 in a 9.8, though it hit a high of $450 in a 9.8 just in May of 2021. Raws are up at a current fair market value of $29. This is a boost, but if you paid $450, it's a bit of a bust. Guys, first appearance in a 9.8, it's going to get you about $150 for this book. This is not the easiest book in the world to get a 9.8. It's a little bit thicker. That's Spider-Man Unlimited number 1. First appearance of Shriek. Raws. I remember selling this book raw all day for $10. It's tripled since then. We're up to about $30 at $29. So a great little book. Awesome, cheap Venom key here. So, hey, if you already have it, good for you. If you don't, $30, 9.8s are going to fetch around $150. Not bad. Let's go down to number 8. That's right. This is Incredible Hulk 449. Here's the first appearance of the Thunderbolts, who was first rumored to appear in the MCU 1 year ago. Granted, this was on many speculators' lists prior, but it wasn't until last year when it really took off. This speculation helped it sell for a fair market value of $40 raw, hit a high sale of $305 for a CGC 9.8. Here we are, 1 year later. Speculation on the Thunderbolts appearing in the MCU is stronger than ever. Many feel that Marvel has laid the groundwork for the team of villains turned involuntary heroes to appear. This has pushed raw copies to a fair market value of $156, 9/8, fair market value of $700. There's a market wrestling match between this book and Dark Avengers, as many feel that these building blocks could lead to them as well. Either way, this was a big boost. Guys, I'm telling you right now, I am recording this video on a Wednesday. I believe Disney has something going on Friday. In 2 days, when this video comes out, Disney has something going on. If they announce that there is a Thunderbolts movie or a Thunderbolts, more likely Disney Plus show, or that the Thunderbolts are coming, anything, watch what happens to this book. There's rumors still swirling that they're going to announce something literally in 2 days. You guys watching this video, it'll be today. I'm almost positive Disney has something going on Friday. So just be ready for it. Don't say I didn't warn you. Keep an eye out. This book, there's no reason, there's a reason why this thing is climbing like crazy. I remember selling this book a few years back for like $20 all day, every day. Now, forget it. You'll never find it for that. Maybe in some dollar bins if you get lucky, but this book's been talked about for a while now. Let's go down. How about number 7? This is Moon Knight number 1 from 1980. Moon Knight hoopla was well solidified by this time last year. In fact, this book was recently on our 2 years later list. Collectors first started the trend of buying into the first regular series with Moon Knight. Collectors priced out of the key first appearance all moved on to books like this. Last year, Raws were selling for about $40 and had a high sale of $250 and a 9.8. 1 year later, Raws now have a fair market value of about $60. 9/8s have hit big at the current fair market value of $921. You've probably heard me say this before. When people get priced out of a certain book, they move on to the next in line. For instance, we'll use Incredible Hulk 181, first appearance of Wolverine. That's gone through the roof. People also are picking up that Hulk 180. But they moved on to Giant Size X-Men. Giant Size X-Men, through the roof. What came next? X-Men 94. Now that's climbing like crazy. So this is the next in line because you had the Werewolf by Night 32, and then you had the Marvel Spotlight, was a 28, that yellow cover, that first solo story. Then you move on to Moon Knight number 1. Although I'll also say Werewolf by Night 33 has been climbing like crazy too. That's Moon Knight's second appearance. But we're way off tangent. Let's get down to number 6. This is first issue, special number 5. This is the first appearance of Mark Shaw, the 5th Manhunter, who was revealed to be the man behind the Leviathan mask in the DC Leviathan series. Last year, this obscure character had a big boost in sales, hitting $17 raw, had a high sale of $68 for a CGC 9.2. At the time, there were no 9.8s. 1 year later, does the market care anymore? Nope. This first currently sells for $9 with no recent graded sales. This character is still around and could have some interest in the future. Time will tell if you want to buy into it. It won't break the bank for now. It is a bust. It's a slight bust. No big deal. Super cheap $10 book if you want to go take a chance, take a risk on it. It's a little bit of that flavor of the week. No one cares. No one cares. Let's go down to number 5. This is Amazing Spider-Man number 12. This is from 2014. This is the first appearance of Leopardon. I'm definitely saying that wrong. This is the giant Japanese robot spider who's been confirmed to appear in some way in the next Spider-Verse film. This rumor was shared by producers who hinted at his possible inclusion. If you recall, Miles was drawing the character at the beginning of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. It sold for a fair market value of $27 with a high sale of $79 and a 9.8. 1 year later, these still sell well, but just for less, a little bit less. $14 fair market and $75 for 9.8. There's been no news on his appearance, but this isn't that far out there. While you won't find 9.8s that cheap right now, they do tend to go cheap in auctions. Meanwhile, raw copies are the way to go for now. It is a bust as of now, but it's a slight bust. Maybe a decent book to look into if you want to take a risk. Raw is somewhere like $10 to $25. I could take a risk, right? Could possibly double. Who knows? We'll see. We haven't heard much news about Into the Spider-Verse. We'll see what happens. Granted, there's probably going to be a bunch of new Spider-Man. Just my assumption. Let's keep going. How about number 4, Giant Size X-Men, number 1. We just kind of talked about it. Forget this book. My God, this is such an important book to the X-Men world. First Colossus, first Nightcrawler, first Thunderbird, and first Storm. Of course, it sells well. This time last year, the market was just starting to look closer at X-Books, especially keys like this one. Raws were selling for a fair market value of $4,250. 9.8s were selling for $19,200. Watch. 1 year later, raw values greatly fluctuate and currently have a fair market value of about $4,900. However, a 9.8 sold in June of 2021 for a massive $72,000. Mega boost. Huge. Monster key. I mean, it's Giant Size X-Men #1. This book, I remember selling this book in an 8.0 for about $800, I think, or $850, and thinking, wow, that's a lot of money. That's a big time book. That was a few years ago. Now, forget it. This thing is out of control. I just used it as an example, 2 books ago. We're talking monster money in a 9.8. Nice book to have in a mid-range. It's also a difficult book to get in high grade because of that white cover, square bound. I mean, you've heard me say it before. It's just a major grail, major key in that high 9.6, 9.8 grade. Let's go down. Number 3 on our list. You guys have probably heard of this one. Amazing Spider-Man 361. 1 year ago, we still didn't have a Venom trailer, but we knew Carnage was coming to Venom #2. Raws were selling for a fair market value of about $125 and had a high sale of $376 for a CGC 9.8. 1 year later, we saw the trailers, we saw the film, and the market has moved on. Over the past year, Raws have hit $300 and 9.8s hit an all-time high of about $1,600. However, the values have plummeted. Raws now have a fair market value of $110. 9.8s are at $700. Granted, while this is a bust for a raw, this is still a boost from last year's $376 in a 9.8. Though that top dollar will sting for those that jumped in at the height. Can Carnage come back? I don't know. There's a million of these books out there. Great book, great character, awesome. I don't think it ever should have hit those kind of numbers. $700 for a 9.8. All right, it's still cheaper than a 9.8 versus Deadpool, which again, I put in the same category. There's a million copies out there. I like Carnage more than Deadpool, and the Deadpool books are they're everywhere. They're all over the place. So do what you will with this one, guys. You could wait this out. I don't know if this book will ever go back to those numbers. Again, there's a million of them out there. So take your chances on a raw book and submit. That's what I would do if you were looking, if you're not into this yet. Let's go down to number 2. We're getting close to the list, close to the end of this list. I do want to remind everybody, check the link down below for Covrprice. You get a discount. Sign up, man. There's pictures too. Everybody loves pictures with the books. Number 2 on the list, Marvel Action Spider-Man #11, the John Boy Myers 1 in 10. Whew. Last year, these IDW Marvel series were incredibly hard to find in local comic shops. Very few shops were ordering 25 copies of this issue. Spider-Man and Venom variant fans had to turn to online sales to find a copy, which helped it reach a high raw sale of $52, 9.8s at $100 a few weeks later. 1 year later, the values have decreased to its current fair market value, $38. 9.8s are at $60. This is a bust. We've talked about these flavor of the week kind of variants. You know, wait them out. Unless you're getting them at cover price or you have a really good LCS, they'll give them to you at cover price or $10, maybe 20. Wait this kind of stuff out. Usually the market fixes itself and it's that FOMO in the beginning, and then before you know it, down it goes. So keep an eye out. Be patient, be patient, be patient. Last on our list, number 1. This is Marvel Chillers #1. Ooh, I like this book. Rumors sure can help the most random book trend. The rumor last year around this book was specifically about Chthon, the Other, whose first appearance is in this issue, joining Magneto and Mephisto. Many speculated that he could also be the villain in the upcoming Scarlet Witch Vision Disney Plus series. This rumor helped this sell for a raw fair market value of $10, had a high sale of $405 for a 9.8. 1 year later, we now know this wasn't the case. However, this one was at least a little more on point than Magneto or Mephisto, since Chthon was the writer of the Darkhold, which did appear in the series. In fact, fans were so confident that the Darkhold's appearance meant we would eventually see Chthon that it hit an all-time high of $2,699 for a 9.8 back in March, a few days after the series ended. While there's been no 9.8 sales since, Raws currently have a fair market value of $30. This is a boost. I love that Marvel Chillers book. Anything with the Darkhold, anything with Chthon right now, anything with Scarlet Witch, Dark Scarlet Witch. Check out those West Coast Avenger books. I'm sure they dipped since this show is on, and they may start to pick up again. That's our cover price list. Guys, I want to talk cover price really quick. Actually, more importantly, I want to close out. Let's talk numbers here. There's our list out of the top 10 books from this time last year. We had a few minor busts that would have only lost you about $100. However, the boosts are so favorable that it's not even worth counting up, as the Giant Size X-Men, just that book alone greatly skews the numbers. MCU driven appearances continue to be the best short and long-term investments. Blue chip keys are spiking in massive ways. Variant flavors of the week were so-so. And story-driven characters like Manhunter as Leviathan were poor investments. The big surprise, as noted before on other shows, is the massive fall for Carnage. This really shines a light on the MCU villain appearances. Their profit window seems to be much shorter than the heroes. Guys, make sure you check out Covrprice.com and see what's on their top 10 and the various trending movers and shakers lists. They've been throwing up some fantastic giveaways for the past month, and currently have 2 full sets of images, new title, What's the Furthest Place from Here? Sign up, check them out. You'll be happy that you did, and then come back for the next show and let's see how these books did. Guys, we're going back 2 years later. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Check out Covrprice.com, and as always, keep it comics.